And hello, happy Sunday. Welcome to the lake. We're going to go to Varney Lake specifically. Hello, Olkesh. Hello, Boo. Welcome. Let's go to the lake, swimming maybe. It is available now on the Xbox Store for $9.99. And for a second, welcome, Xbox. Yes, Jordan takes. Hello, Jordan. Alright, Varney Lake has 30 achievements for the 1,000 gamer score. We got some rares in there. Catch a shoe. I guess we gotta go fishing. Solve one matchstick puzzle. Alright, new game. Achievements are so 1999. Well, I live in the 90s. Hey, we're gonna be Jimmy. Summer, 1954. Press anything to continue. I'm pushing my desk. It's not working. Game lied. Truth or dare? The question takes you by surprise. I was not born in the 90s. I don't know why you ask him. I was not even born in the 80s. My wife was. He always made the same choice. Let's do a dare. Dare! What did I tell you, huh? As hard as it is to admit, Doug is right. Dare always was the easy option for you. Christine bites her lip. Jordan was born in 650. He's been around for a minute. That means I was born in 5007? And Ima was born in 19? Pavor was born in 27? Let's see. I know. You're gonna try Doug's new game. You tried Prime Hydration. You're young and hip. I don't think I've tried that one. Huh? Wouldn't you rather make me eat a beetle? Gross. Or do a headstand on an ant nest? Yeah. You two laugh. You'll need me later to learn new tricks. No thanks. Christine taps you on the shoulder. You look at her, and she smiles at you. Speaking of hydration drink, I should drink mine. You can't think of anything to say. Feel like every step you don't open your mouth is another missed opportunity. And you know what? That when you go to sleep and run the conversation in your head, 1,000 things you could have said to her will come to you. Argo? You think you hear something whistling. Are you imagining things now? You're still bothered about yesterday. Why didn't you wait for Doug and Christine to arrive? What did you want to prove? You try to think of something else. Like your mom says, what's done is done. You clear your throat. Dear listeners, yeah, beep, yeah. We formally kick off a new summer in Varney Lake. Doug claps his hands, and Christine wolf whistles. Christine is a year and 10 months older. But when you do the radio host voice, you don't feel the age gap as much. She's Doug's cousin, and this is the 4th summer you've spent together. She lives with just her mom. Her dad died in the Korean War. Doug is a few months younger than you. He's still 12, but turns 13 in a few weeks. He never knew his father, and his mother is Christine's aunt. Christine, Doug, and you are all only children. And what had started as a joke ended up formalizing into the idea of a club, the only club. So make yourselves comfortable. You pause, and you point to Doug and Christine. The all-new adventures of the Only Child Club are about to begin. The club had been Doug's idea, but it was Christine who suggested trying to raise the money to buy the old Varney Lake Drive-In Theater. That's a huge investment. They say you can go see strange lights at night. Christine makes a noise with her mouth. Who say? Doug doesn't answer. It wouldn't be the headlights of ghost cars, would it? You laugh. Doug takes a deep breath and shakes his head from side to side. People died in that fire. Real people. Can't you see his face, Jimmy? He's bleeping with you. Doug laughs and makes some faces at you. Switch games? No, I don't have any Switch games. That arrow looks funny. You let out a laugh and threaten to punch him in the stomach. You get into the old sycamore tree and try to erase the memory that time when you checked out of kissing Christine? Or chickened out. Oof. Hater Hank. Jimmy, the dare. It all started 2 summers ago. Doug had shown you a book he was obsessed with. Too many entries for Xbox. Yeah?
SMS received.
Guy doesn't even have a Switch. He wouldn't tell you where he'd found it. The book provided lots of valuable information on the games played with cards, matchsticks, dice. That tin can we kept the money in isn't going to be big enough, right? Doug opens his backpack, takes out a deck of cards, and hands it to you. In the last few years, you three had raised enough money to get your hopes up. Remember what we promised. Horror doesn't even have a Series X. The horror. Christine tucks her hair behind her ear. Before the youngest member of the club turns 18, Doug beats his chest. Ooh. That would be me. We'll buy the drive-in. The solitaire game I invented is going to make us so much money. Really? It's called Solitaire 10. My chair's lower than normal. You'll see why. Good morning, Jess. Trying to adjust my chair. There. That's a better height. We're playing solitaire. The idea is start from the card you turn over and try to add cards to get to 10. 10, but isn't the jack worth 11? Yes, the jack is 11, queen 12, and king is 13. So, Doug pauses before revealing the key to his creation. Depending on the color of the card you turn over, cards you choose from the board will either add or subtract to the total. Surprise you might find it hard to follow Doug's instructions. Doug seems to realize this and signals you to wait. 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 The first card is red. Red cards will add to the total, and the black cards will subtract. Okay. Accounting color-wise, that works for me. And if it's black, black cards will be the ones that add, and red cards, the ones... Oh. Okay. Reversed. Okay, so the card matches as add. Got it. And what happens if you can't reach 10? You turn over a new card and continue with that one. Christine remains silent. She seems to be about to say something, but in the end she doesn't. Otter redeems third. So that was No Pulse's idea. It looks fun. People do it. Hello, Otter. And get this. Doug can't hide his excitement. If you reach 10 using all of your 10 cards available, you shout Super 10 and win outright. Alright, so we're going for a Super 10. Doug taps you on the shoulder. You make a Super 10, and I give you a dare. Well, just get started. If you run out of cards to turn over and can't make 10, we count the cards in the pot, and that's your final score. Alright, select a card. Oh my god, this is going to be painful. Mouse work? Does not look like it. Alright, 7. And turn. Back. We'll just end turn. Turn over a new card. What the hell? Exit. Deal again. We'll start over. Alright. king. Select a card. This is very painful. Move cursor to the right. Undo. Undo all. Dreamcast, 42%. I need to add this to my screen.
SMS received.
Exit. Deal again. And turn. Back. Exit. I don't like this deal. Deal again. Stop giving me a king. Jack. And turn. Turn over a new card. 2 plus 8. Select a card. Add card to total. And turn. That should work, right? Okay. Select a card. Back. We need a new card. And turn. Turn over a new card. Another jack. And turn. Turn over a new card. 7. We don't have a 3. And turn. New card. Stop it with these bad cards. And turn. We'll add the... No, we don't have anything. Back. And turn. New card. 8 and a 2. Select a card. Nope. Left. Add card to total. And turn. Add some to the pot. King. -3. Select a card. Add card to total. And turn. Add some to the pot. Got it. Nice. 7. We don't have any 3s. And turn. Turn over a new card. Select a card. Add some to the pot. Another 2 and turn. This is weird. Turn over a new card. 6. Do we don't have any 4s? No. And turn. Turn over a new card. Don't have any 3s. 59%. 10. And turn. Add some to the pot. Nice. 10's ought to do it. What if I got an idea. Add card to total. -5. So interesting. Okay. Select a card. We'll add the queen. 7. Add card to the total. -2. Select a card. Well, that brings us to 0. Oof. Add card to total, so 9. Select a card. Add to the card to total. -3. 6. We don't have add card to the total. 7. And turn over a new card. Okay, I get this game a little more. This is weird. PlayStation is just better. Why is PlayStation better, Boo? Four. Alright, select a card. Add card to the total, so -8. So select a card. 4. We don't have a 6. Select a card. We're going to add that one. 13. Now we need minus. Do -9. That doesn't do much. End turn. We can't do anything. Turn over a new card. 5. 5. 5. Select a card. We will add the queen. -7. Select a card. -16. -7. Add to the total. -16 again. Oof. -4. So select a card. 8. Select a card. We can add that too. We got a 10. End turn. Add some to the pot. Nice.
SMS received.
Hello, BX. Welcome to Varney Lake, where we haven't gone swimming or fishing yet. Select a card. Add card. End turn. Add some to the pot. 7. Select a card. Six. We don't have a 4. We don't have a red 4. I haven't wanted one yet. I can add the 4. No, that didn't do what I needed. Undo. Undo last move. Back. Select a card. It's going to take me to 10. Oh. Got it. End turn. Add some to the pot. No red 3. So we could add the 4. Select a card. Add the ace. Bam. End turn. Spider-Man 2. Select a card. Let's add the jack. Add the king. Add the ace. And turn. Add some to the pot. Select a card. Add card to total. And turn. So jack, we can add another ace. Add card. And turn. Add some. Add the king. Takes us to -2. Let's select a card. We'll select the 8. That takes us to 6. We'll add the 10. Takes us to -4. Select a card. Add the king. Takes us to a 9. We can add the 5. Add in 6. That takes us to 10. I don't know if I can add the other 3. So we'll end the turn. Add some to the pot. Exit. Check score. You count the cards in the pot. 44. Is it any good? Cousin. Now what? Christine seems to enjoy the situation. There's an easy way to make Super 10. How? Christine starts to explain something, but you stop paying attention. Super 10. You hear a whistling sound that makes your gut clench. You see Brandon in the distance, and your heart starts to race. They're looking for you. Guys, I bleeped up. Doug and Christine suddenly shut up. What do you mean you bleeped up? Jimmy. You point to a spot in the horizon, and your voice cracks. It's just that Brandon... You pause, and try to sound more confident. Yesterday we played dice, and I fleeced him. Christine taps you on the shoulder, and Doug throws his head in his hands. Bleeping hell. They're gonna kill us. Shh. Come on, over here. Get down. Christine is almost 2 years older than you. But there are times when you feel even younger next to her. You walk, non-stop, for more than half an hour. 17%. Wow, boo, wow. If Brandon doesn't kill us, the heat will. You look at Doug. The cream he uses is invisible. But it's got a strong smell. You've gotten used to it, but it still hits you in the nostrils from time to time. Is it true what his mother says? Doug is the only boy you know who's allergic to the sun. I can't believe you didn't wait for us yesterday. Try to explain. Brandon wanted a rematch. I didn't think he'd figure out Doug's trick. You thought? That's your problem. You think too much. You keep quiet and look straight ahead. Endo 64. You can't bring yourself to hold Christine's gaze. Sorry to interrupt you, but we reached the river. Little River is one of the main tributaries of Varney Lake. Is it safe? No. You take a deep breath and cross the old bridge at full speed. The distance makes you feel better. Because even though you like her, Christine intimidates you. Like her or like her? Because she's your cousin, bro. This is some Oklahoma stuff. Come on, Doug. Don't be a cat. Doug looks at Christine, and Christine points to the bridge. Your turn. Doug starts to cross. A board moves, and he lets out a scream. Christine laughs. It's beautiful, but it makes you feel hollow. And that hollowness reminds you that Christine's been dating a boy from her hometown for several years. And that when the summer is over, she'll be back with him. Dude, she's your cousin. What kind of story is this? Hey, Jordan. Over there, see? Yes. What is it? No frickin' idea. Should we go see? Jordan, I don't want you on my desk. Christine nods, and Doug shrugs. You've never been to this part of Varney Lake before? How far have we walked already? Not far enough yet. Brandon is... Christine seems to be looking for the right word. Bitter. A son of a bitch, you think? You walk faster. Try to keep some thoughts out of your head. Christine follows close behind, you and Doug. Wow. A new headquarters for the club? It's my vote. It's abandoned? Let's go and see. You all run to the entrance of the mill with a surprising energy. Although the door is open, the stench of confinement is intense. There's a guy in there. A vampire. The sun. For a few seconds, no one says anything. Doug seems to remember something and starts going through his backpack. My mom bought this allergy cream for me. The sun. Something about the man's desperation moves you. You grab Doug's hand and shake your head. You think of your grandfather. The day he died. You had read him a letter from your grandmother. When you finished, and you thought he had fallen asleep, you got up carefully and walked to the door. But he was not asleep. Whispering, he asked you to close the curtains. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Half an hour later, you found him dead in his bed. And you could swear he was smiling. He doesn't need any cream, Doug. He just wants a little darkness. The sun is coming through 2 different windows. One high up, the other full of broken glass. Would it be empty of broken glass? Let's cover the windows. You think about asking Doug and Christine to stand in front of the lowest window, but it's full of glass and looks dangerous. As for the higher window, there's no way to cover it without using some kind of tool. Grab a blanket. You lift the blanket and shake it a little. In a corner of the mill, you find some long reeds. You grab one. You leave the reed and the blanket on the floor. You ask Doug and Christine for help, and you lift the old plow. Watch out for the glass. You move it closer to the window and gently rest it to block the light coming in from outside. Excellent. Cover the windows. You think about asking Doug and Christine to stand. Grab the blanket. Grab the long reed. Cover the windows. Use reed and blanket. Something occurs to you. It's the same technique your mom uses to remove cobwebs from high ceilings. Only she uses a broom and an old rag. You put the blanket over the reed and lean the reed against the wall. You try to block the light coming through the window without success. You need another reed to stretch the blanket and cover more surface area. Grab another long reed. Cover the windows. You lean the second reed against the wall and tuck it under the blanket. Moving the 2 reeds carefully, you stretch the blanket and block out all the light coming through the high window. Doug's canteen bounces off one of the walls and lands on the rubble with a thud. You're not even sure you saw the old man lashing out, and you wonder if your brain isn't filling in the blanks. You help the old man up. Who is he? And why is he dressed like that? You turn your head towards the door. Hi, dear. The old man raises his hand, his gaze fixed upon the animal. I want to suck your blood. None of you move a muscle. You think of Brandon laughing about how he and his brothers used to kill rabbits. You have to point the flashlight at them. They freeze, like idiots. You approach slowly, and a good hit does the rest. But what followed was no hit at all. The body of the deer lay limp at the feet of the vampire. It's noon, and the same sun you blocked from the old mill shines with all its intensity over Varney Lake. We moved on to 1981. I can only imagine the fear you must have felt. Jimmy remained silent, staring at some point behind your head. Hello, no pulse. I did your idea. It was fun. After his detailed account about how that first encounter with the vampire, he seemed somewhat changed. You did say hi to the kitty first, and it said hi back. But you can't really say how. You look towards the door. Will she come as she promised? Jimmy sighs and looks down. What's he thinking about? He doesn't know about it, but you got your hands on the reports about his involvement in the Vietnam War through an acquaintance. Hello, Calcu. And I did them for 1, 2, and 3 points. Would you go include any of that in your new book? Ask again if they were afraid. Just change the subject. Do you like the rain? You look out the window and think of the people running around looking for shelter. JP does not work here. I was always afraid of the rain. I should make it JP. I mean, I have it as something else, though. Some images come to your mind. Images of cars floating, people walking through water almost waist high. But it wasn't your childhood that you had come to talk about today. Another coffee? Jimmy shakes his head, and you don't insist. You think of your editor, of the words he said to you the last time you met. Your career wouldn't survive another failure. Jimmy settles back in his chair. You want to know what I'm afraid of, Lou? Did you ever forget a name? The director of a movie? Or the author of a book? Make your list, Jordan. Oh, I wonder if I have that game. Sports. It does not look like I do, but I have Canada versus Germany. When something like this happens to you, the mind becomes obsessed. It goes into a loop, trying to remember the name even when you don't care anymore. The answer can appear at any moment. While you're watching TV, while you're washing the dishes, that stubbornness, freedom of your mind to work behind the scene. As if it were an independent entity. Germany's up over Canada. Wow. What's the limit, Lou? Does it have an end? You remained silent, feeling how the distance between you and Jimmy grows with each passing second. For you, these questions were never rhetorical. And you know that there are not many people prepared to listen to the answers. Canada ties it. There it is. After talking on the phone, you had your doubts. But in the end, she came. You had chosen this table so that Jimmy was sitting with his back to the door. You needed the surprise effect. Jimmy? Christine? Time seems to stand still, and neither of them moves. How long has it been? 27 years. Wow, just wow. You notice the way Jimmy seems to stumble over his words. You know that love is nothing more than an adaptive trick to perpetuate the species. But as with any other magic trick, knowing there's a trick is not enough to escape its effects. Come, let's sit at the table. Jimmy, I can't believe it. Jimmy smiles, and you look away. There's something about the gesture that makes you uncomfortable. As if the muscles in his face have forgotten what a smile looks like. I'm a little late, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it, babe. We just started. You tell Christine what you were talking about with Jimmy. That day in the summer of 1954, when you met the vampire. Entering for dementia. Nice, BX. Did you tell him about Doug, my cousin? Jimmy nods and starts drumming his fingers on the table. Why is he drumming his fingers on the table? Although you assume it's nervous gesture, Jimmy's fingers seem to be asking something of Christine. That summer was... I'm sorry. I thought I was ready. You lean forward, take a deep breath. You know you can't miss this opportunity. You tell them what you can about your new book. At first, you find it hard to articulate some ideas. You're not selling a project to a publisher. Gradually, you find your tone, and you are aware of the effect of your words. And you are aware of the effect your words have on both Jimmy and Christine. You eventually talk about memory as a way of purging the present at a point when you are feeling particularly poetical? But you know that memory can be that. And much more. You don't feel comfortable. Why are you doing all this? Is what your editor thinks really so important? Your readers? Anyway, you had managed to spur a change. And Christine seems determined to talk. You have to understand that we were kids. Boo! Frickin' Padres. Kids. You find it interesting that Christine uses the same arguments as Jimmy. That the summer was just beginning. Wow, I miss that feeling. The days seemed to go on forever, and we could do anything. No achievement yet. Rude. Oh, we're going back to summer 1954. Jimmy, what do you think the odds are? You like this feeling, almost as if you were floating. And everything weighed a little less. You needed this. And you know your mom did too. Huh. I'd say the same odds as shuffling a deck of cards and getting an order that's already been dealt. In the history of all mankind. Wait a minute. How? I read somewhere that if you shuffle a deck of 52 cards well, if you shuffle it very well, 4 or 5 times, like this, even though you're not looking at him, you can imagine Doug shuffling an invisible deck of cards. The odds of getting a card order someone already got are infinitely small. All 52 cards in order, but there are... yeah, I could see that. There's a slight breeze. You try to imagine what could the possible configuration for you to see it. How small? It was like 1 in, I don't know, a huge number. I think like 67 zeros. That's a lot of zeros. Wow, just wow. Does a number that big even have a name? You can't help but smile. Jimmy is nothing like your boyfriend. Boyfriend is taller, bigger, more self-confident. I think we're gonna see it. Neither one of them say anything. But you know, they're waiting for you to go on. Doug? Your little cousin, who has always idolized and feared you in equal measure. Jimmy! Doug's friend, who is now your friend too. And you always knew he liked you. Mark my words. This summer, we're gonna see Mount Rushmore in the sky. I don't know, cousin. 67 is a lot of zeros. Math is not important. It's enough that we've added it to the list. Doug pulls your journal out of the backpack and hands it to you. And you all read the summer bucket list with veneration. Veneration. This was one of the club's oldest goals. Year after year, you aim to raise $100 to someday be able to buy the drive-in theater. How cheap is the drive-in theater that they could they can afford it for just $100 a summer? Last year you had come close, and Jimmy thought all you needed was just a little more ruthlessness. Catch an albino tarpon. Martin, Felix's father, was the only one who had ever caught one. Such a feat had earned him his picture on the wall of the fisherman's bar. There was a time when everyone wanted to catch another albino tarpon. These visual novels get to my throat. I don't stream them much. But time went by, and people started to distrust Martin's story and the very existence of the albino tarpon. Mount Rushmore. Even though you understand the boys' doubts, you know they're looking at the problem the wrong way. Finding shapes in the clouds speaks more about the people looking for them than the shapes themselves. The problem is to get the three of you to agree on what you're seeing. And when that moment comes, when all three of you agree that you're seeing the same thing, you will have reached the most precious moment of your friendship. Check the Varney Lake map. You look at the locations you've marked on the map. Up Little River. Felix had told you that before he was born, his parents had a daughter. A daughter who would now be like you if it weren't for a strange disease that has caused her death at a very young age. Maybe that's why Martin talked to you more than the rest. And maybe that's why he had told you about the place where you should start looking for the albino tarpon. Eagle Hill. Eagle Hill is located southwest from the lake. perfect place to feel close to the sky and find different shapes in the clouds. Eagle Hill was one of the spots that couples, older kids, used to meet up at night. How you doing? Until the winter, Barbara disappeared. Barbara lived year-round at Varney Lake. Hello, I'm a Raiders. Welcome to Varney Lake. Available now on the Xbox store. You froze my emotes. How dare you?
If not, there's another one.
Dem Raid, thank you for the raid, Dem. There is a giveaway open. Type Lake if you want to win a copy of this game.
Oh, what an idiot!
Hello, I'm a How Was Surprise Me Sunday. Eagle Hill was the last place she'd been seen alive. And with Brandon, no less. Nice, we got a flashy light. Would have been great if the timed with the raid. After ruling out Brandon as a suspect, the police believed that Barbara had run away from Varney Lake. Rumor around town had it that she didn't get along with her parents at all. General Market. The General Market is almost as old as the first settlement in Varney Lake. You could buy almost anything, from bread or butter to batteries or cigarettes. But even more important, the General Market is surrounded by a concrete playground where the kids from Varney Lake hang out a lot. And that playground is the ideal place to play Doug's games. Shouldn't we mark the area the vampire told us about? Doug's right. The old cobblestone road stretches for miles. No one knows when it was built, or by whom. The vampire had told you to follow it to the end. To the end of the road as we know it. Yes, I know I sang that wrong. And to wait until it was 7 o'clock in the evening. Jimmy looks at Doug. I told my mom I'm sleeping at your house tonight. I told mine I'm sleeping at yours. Doug and Jimmy laugh heartedly. Their mothers are at each other's throats and not talking. It's a perfect alibi. What about you? Neither of them asks you anything. You know, they do it out of respect. Your mom is usually so drunk at night that you don't have to make up an excuse to go out. Hi, Jordan. Hi. ... You take a deep breath and get up. Summer is just beginning. You need to stay off my desk, though. And Varney Lake seems full of possibilities. Go fishing. We want to go fishing. Because there's achievements for that. We don't have an achievement yet. How many fish does the old geezer want? You'd like to say something, but you choose to keep quiet. Old geezer? Martin had lost his daughter. Christine? 9. Jimmy lets out a whistle. If we bring him 9 fish, will he tell us where to catch the albino? Yes. But how are we going to catch so many fish? Last time it was a disaster. Doug's right. But what he doesn't take into account is that Martin gave you some tricks he learned over a lifetime of fishing. We're going to fish. But Martin says that to fish we have to open our senses. Do you know what synesthesia is? The ability to perceive something with a different sense than the ones stimulated. Seeing a color when you hear a musical note, for example. Martin says that to be good at fishermen, you have to develop synesthesia. Jordan, I don't want to play this game with you. You need to lay down or go somewhere else. When you catch something and try to pull it out of the water, there's going to be resistance. The fish is going to try to get loose. And what you have to do is imagine those movements in a specific color. Green for a weak movement, yellow for a normal one, and red for a sudden one. As long as we respond with movements that compensate for the fish's attempts to escape, we're going to tire it out, and we're going to be able to get it out of the water. All right, well, let me fish. Jimmy looks confused. After a few seconds, Doug starts laughing. And you say, my games are complicated. You don't feel like arguing with your cousin. This is not a game. Fishing is an activity. And, as with any activity, what really matters is to dedicate the necessary time to learn all its secrets. Did you win a copy? Not yet. You lost it. Fish. Hey! First achievement. Freedom! Lose a catch. You lost it. All right, how do we actually catch a fish? How long do you have to stop playing your Xbox before I catch you? Probably about 3 months. All right, so I can't click a red. Even though you know what you have to wait for a bite before you lift the rod, you can't always control your eagerness. Keep fishing. I will get a million eventually. You caught something. An eel. Ah! It's almost red. You lost it. All right, let's see if it tells me actually how to fish. So I know when to actually push the button. We don't have, of course. You lost it. Lost it more than I've won it. Yes, I didn't get onto Xbox Live until the 360 in like 20 something, 2007, I think. That's when I bought both my Xbox 360 and my PS3. My ex-wife wouldn't let me play, so I never got into it when I was with her. As Jordan would say, she was a hater Hank. I think I know it now. I see how to do it now. Look at me now. I got a catfish. Just look at the mustache. Fish. You've caught something. An eel. Ugh. Catch 3 fish. Stop not catching something. Alright, so the trick is you need to get the color that the hook is. So the hook's green, we need to get a green. And now we need to get a yellow. Now a green. Now we need a yellow. Halvor with that raid. I didn't even know you were live, Halvor. Welcome, raiders. We caught it. Oh, shit, exactly, Jordan. We need a green. You've caught something. We caught another eel. Jordan is at 3 years. I'm fishing fine. You've caught something. A trout. Remember last time we grilled one? Hello, Heaven Smile. Welcome to Varney Lake. You've caught something. A catfish. Just look at the moustache. Fish. Vlad. Yes, I lake. Well played. You caught something. A trout. Happy Memorial Day, Xbox. Yes. I will have a couple streams tomorrow. Maybe 3. We'll see. I do have my ambassador show tomorrow, where we're going to do some garden simulation.
SMS received.
Hello, Bilibus. Welcome to Varney Lake. You've caught something. Those errands are calling your name. Well, you have at least 9 minutes before I push the button again. We've caught a trout. Catch 9. I think there's one for catching 22. Catch a shoe. We're going to continue fishing for a little bit. No, this is a visual novel, but we're in the fishing part. Finish the game. I want to fish. Not a long game. You've caught something. A trout. I want to catch a shoe, at least. We caught a trout. You've caught something. A trout. I wonder if the boot is just 100% random. Come on. We've caught an eel. Fish. Now we need a red one. You've caught something. A catfish. Alright, we'll only do it a couple more times. We'll get on with the story. A trout. Alright, we'll catch one more fish. Come on. Doesn't want me to catch one more fish. An eel isn't a fish, so we'll catch one more fish. Or not. Come on. I wonder if there's more fishing later in the game. We got a catfish. Of course it's a catfish. Alright, we'll stop fishing. You got the 9 fish that Martin asked you to catch. The goal of catching an albino tarpon is getting closer and closer. We're gonna take them to the old geezer or what? What do you think he meant? I think it was clear. Especially after seeing how you were shaking the mill. Huh? Yeah, right. Wasn't it you who let out a scream when he bit the deer, huh? You're a little bored of listening to them fight. It's unusually something you enjoy. It's usually something you enjoy. But there are times when they seem childish. You think about your boyfriend. What's he doing right now? Does he miss you? Do you miss him? I don't think I entered. Because the lake has a period or whatnot after it. It's here, the end of the old road. I sharpened a twig with a razor. Might work. As a stake? I brought a silver chain. For a few seconds, no one says anything. What time is it? You look at the clock. What clock? It's almost 7. Brandon didn't show up all day, did he? You don't think that? Doug suddenly goes quiet. You feel that? You feel it too. A vibration. Some kind of electricity. And a burning smell. What the bleep? Come here, come on. Jimmy still surprised you. A few minutes ago, he seemed... What word did you use? Childish? Now you don't quite know what to think. What do you think? Shall we go in? Let's go in. You nod your head. Jimmy takes a step forward, but Doug grabs him by the shoulder. Shouldn't we wait until we're invited? That's funny. I thought only my kind had to worry about that. Come with me, if you want to live. You look at Doug. Doug looks at Jimmy. And Jimmy looks at you. Jimmy strides forward and forces you to take a few quick steps as not to be left behind. Wow. Let's do the buttons. No Pulse has won the lake. I will send that to you on Discord. You mark it down. Hopefully that raises your heartbeat. Yes, I take. Wow, just wow. You feel small in there. Congratulations. There was a time when everything was different. You'd have been greeted by my servants, entertained until I decided to join you. Yes, I play after you hit 1 million. What would you like to drink? Soda. Have a soda? Doug's eyes widen. Me too. Your cousin can't stay away from sugary drinks. What about a Bloody Mary? An awkward silence follows Jimmy's joke. Same as them, then. Maybe there's some in the pantry. I'll be back. As soon as the door to the huge dining room closes, the three of you jump out of your chairs. How old is this furniture? Who are all these people? Did you see the little bats in the chairs? None of you can contain your amazement. After all, you were in a vampire's house. Bloody Mary? Doug lets out a hiss, and you can't help but laugh. I'm sure he's been thinking up vampire jokes all afternoon. Hello, Apex. Welcome to Varney Lake. Jimmy doesn't say anything, and your laughter doesn't last long. The silence is oppressive. You wonder if the walls of the dining room had ever heard the sound of people laughing. 24-hour dive rule. You unconsciously fondle with your bracelet, and you're thankful it's silver. The door opens. None of you say anything. You are lucky. I found carbonated beverages in one of the pantries. She looks confused. Doug and Jimmy uncork their bottles, and they don't like what they hear. Faint hissing sound, like a balloon quietly deflating. Did you see the bottling date? You try to speak softly so the vampire won't hear you. One of my maids always said, soda never expires. Did he hear you? How? Do vampires have superhuman hearing? I know. You have a lot of questions. Brandon, for example. You won't have to worry about him anymore. Woo! Did you kill him? I want to suck your blood. What do you think I am? Let's just say he's not going to be able to hurt anyone anymore. Listen carefully. You saved me, and now I owe you. What about the drive-in theater? The question takes you by surprise. Is the vampire also able to read your minds? Or is there a simpler explanation? We like horror movies. What is Doug doing? Why is he even telling him stuff? Give me a minute. I have something to show you. Something to show us? How many of the dozens of horror movies you've seen include a line just like that one? You wait for the door to close. Dot, dot, dot. And you don't have to say anything. You try to hold back your laughter and breathe through your nose. Why? Why did we run? Doug tries to catch his breath. What do you mean, why? That old guy's a freak. We don't want to die in his haunted house. You look at Jimmy and smile. Jimmy smiles back. It's just a second. And when you realize, you look down and pull your arm away. And fade to black. Lou. We're going back to the future. You listen to them talking, and you think about the best way to arrange the material for the book. On the one hand, you have the activity they did during the day. All the things that strengthened them as a group and made the story more human. On the other hand, the first night at the vampires, a dinner that didn't turn out as the vampire had probably expected. You adjust your glasses, a habit almost as old as you. Why are you asking yourself all these questions? At what point had you lost confidence in your writing process? You'd like to write as you used to, one chapter after the other, without worrying too much about the structure. Books are nothing more than an act of accumulation. You said, in one of the brief faces, you'd been commissioned to write at some point. Now, nobody commissions anything from you. You had a hard time finding a publisher for a new book. And to think, 10 years ago, any non-fiction publisher in the country would have paid an astronomical amount to have you among their authors. I'm hoping we get some WD Black SSD expansion cards. Would be nice. Because both the wife and I can use one. Phew! Finally, a good sign. The story of these 3 kids had made you lose track of time. That would be epic. Would the same thing happen to your future readers? You'll have to excuse me. I have to make a phone call. You saw it in a confidential screenshot on Twitter. Nice. I don't think I'll take more than 10 minutes. There's a phone across the street. Jimmy and Christine nod. Before you leave, reach into your pockets. Oh, poop. Ask Jimmy for a quarter. Jimmy raises his head and looks at you. An awkward silence ensues. I have nothing on me. Maybe next time. It takes you a second to realize, understand the sarcasm in his words. No one better take your shirt-sized backpack filled with all the swag. Jimmy lives on the streets, surviving on whatever people give him. You start to apologize, but Jimmy shakes his head. Uncomfortable and not knowing what to say next, you appreciate that Christine starts going through her purse. Let's see, I always have some spare change, in case something happens with my son. Let's ask an insensitive question. It's only a second, but you notice the expression on Christine's face the moment she mentions her son. It doesn't take a professional to notice the tension that still exists between these two. Thank you, Christine. I'll be back. You know they won't miss you too much. Jimmy and Christine have a lot to talk about. It's raining outside, and you think about the concept of the pathetic fallacy. Was nature mourning the commercial success that your last book didn't achieve? The funny thing is that you don't really care about the money. Or rather, you're not interested in it as an end in itself. You just see it as a tool that allows you to continue your research and do damage control. Three, bottom of the third. You made some decisions in your career that you regretted, but you always tried to make up for it. Did the Stars win last night? I'm not wearing my Google Watch. I don't think they played last night. Or did they? They play today. No. They play the 31st. Yes, they won yesterday. This looks weird. Your heart almost came out of your mouth. Xantos, your mother trucker. You hang up the phone and the coin is returned. Sorry, did I scare you? You let the air out of your mouth. Although you've seen many things over the years. Terrible things. Unimaginable for sure for some. You can't deny that Xanos has indeed frightened you. What happened? Why did you leave the diner? Xanos seems nervous. And he doesn't need to tell you anything for you to know what's wrong with him. Go. But 10 minutes tops. You go back to the booth and dial Lee's number. Lee is Xanos' adoptive father. And your friend, you might say. You feel responsible for everything that had happened to him. For more commercials. Hashtag ad. After all, Lee was one of the main characters in your book about the Mothman and the 1966 meteor shower. The phone rings. Since a fateful night in late November 1966, Lee could feel the effects on every possible present at once. It's hard for you to imagine something like that. To feel each pixel pulper. Know more about Mothman. Feel each and every possible present as if they had happened. What impact would this have on a person? It was not a superpower, that much is clear. It was a curse. Lee's relationship with Victoria, whom he had married 3 months before their daughter was born, had deteriorated in recent years. Feeling all these presents where Victoria had lied to him, insulted him, cheated on him, belittled him, or worse, had been too much for Lee. Nice. And that was why he had moved to the other end of the country, and only you have his number. Lou? How many presents will there be where it's not you on the other end of the phone, but someone else? Weird wording. Could these presents be quantified? Enumerated? For analysis? You shake your head, trying to concentrate on the conversation, and to stop thinking about all these possible ramifications that every act, no matter how small, may have. Did you think I'd forgotten? Lee laughs, and starts telling you about the last stories he read. Lee is a fan of crime fiction. You had given him several dozen issues of the Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine, and you call him religiously for him to tell you what happened in the stories he'd like the most. Lee needs to talk. He needs to be in contact with another human being. It was the least you could do after ruining his life. What about my son? Is he learning anything? You notice his voice breaks when he mentions Xantos. You tell him he is. That he's helping you observe the people you're interviewing. As if he had been summoned, you see Xanos walking across the street. You cover the phone with your hand and call him. You say Jimmy's name and make a gesture for Xanos to watch him. Xanos nods, and you go back to talking to Lee. I don't want to take anything for granted this time. Lee doesn't respond. But you think you know what he's thinking. Lou? Thank you. Before you go, can you say anything? Before you can say anything, he hangs up. You hold your head and take a deep breath. You had screwed him up and he thanks you. You think about the new book. Biography of a very special vampire. Will they be okay when they find out? When they know the whole truth? Christine has a family, but Jimmy, you know how much he's suffered? It's impossible to foresee how he might react. But isn't there a possible present for any outcome? No. No. The end is always one and only one. And you have to learn to live with that. Jimmy. Alright, well, with the end of that chapter, that is where we're going to end today's stream of Varney Lake, available now on the Xbox Store for $9.99. I'll be back at 4. I might do something at 1. I don't know. Stay tuned. Have a great rest of your Sunday morning. Stay safe and happy gaming.